Don't spend those Lincoln pennies from 1999, 1987, or 2017 just yet. Some of these ordinary coins have rare mint marks, hidden errors, and unique features that could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Check your change. Your next fortune might be hiding in your wallet right now. In 1999, a year filled with anticipation for the new millennium, few people imagined that something as small and ordinary as a 1-cent coin could carry such incredible value. The U.S. Lincoln penny from that year, familiar to millions, would go on to surprise collectors around the world. Some of these 1999 Lincoln 1-cent coins left the U.S. Mint with striking and rare errors, transforming them from simple copper-plated zinc coins into treasures worth astonishing amounts of money. Believe it or not, a single 1999 Lincoln penny with the right kind of error has been valued between $44,500 and $122,200, depending on the variety and condition. A penny that once barely bought a piece of gum could now pay for a luxury car or even part of a house. To understand why the 1999 penny became such a sought-after piece, we have to take a closer look at its origins. The Lincoln cent has been an American icon since 1909, when it was first introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin's obverse features Lincoln's timeless profile, while the reverse in 1999 still displayed the familiar Lincoln Memorial, an image that had been part of the design since 1959. At first glance, there was nothing particularly different about the 1999 penny. It was produced in massive quantities, with billions minted across Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But within those billions, a few coins were struck with mistakes so rare that they captured the imagination of collectors everywhere. Among the most famous errors from that year is the wide AM reverse error. Normally, the letters A and M in the word America on the back of the coin are spaced close together, almost touching. But in a rare twist, some 1999 pennies were accidentally struck with the reverse design intended for proof coins, special coins made for collectors. On these error coins, the A and M in America are noticeably wider apart. This small detail, almost invisible to the naked eye, marks the difference between a regular penny and one that could be worth thousands. The wide AM error occurred because during the production process, a proof reverse die was mistakenly used for a batch of circulation pennies. These were not supposed to reach the public, but somehow they did, and the result was one of the most collectible errors in modern coinage. A genuine 1999 wide AM penny in pristine condition has fetched prices well above $44,500. And some of the highest quality examples graded by PCGS or NGC have sold for more than $122,200, stunning collectors and investors alike. Another fascinating type of error found on some 1999 Lincoln cents is the double die obverse. This happens when the die, the metal stamp that strikes the design, hits the blank coin twice but slightly off alignment. The result is a noticeable doubling of letters and numbers, particularly in areas like Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date, 1999. These doubled images are not just subtle shifts. They're bold and easily seen under magnification, making them highly desirable. Depending on clarity and grade, such coins have sold for thousands, adding another layer of intrigue to the 1999 mintage. There are also reports of off-center strikes, where the coin's design is misaligned due to improper positioning during minting. In extreme cases, Lincoln's face might appear partially cut off, and part of the blank planchet remains visible. Coins with minor off-centering might bring modest premiums, but those with dramatic misalignments, while still showing the full date, can command eye-popping prices. It's not unusual for such coins to sell for tens of thousands of dollars when authenticated and preserved in mint state condition. Another curious variant is the clipped planchet error, where a section of the coin's edge appears to have been bitten off. This occurs when the sheet of metal used to punch out coin blanks overlaps during cutting. These clipped coins, especially when combined with other errors, have sold for significant sums at auctions. What makes the 1999 penny particularly fascinating to collectors is that it was the final year before the mint introduced the new millennium designs and changes. It marked the end of an era, the last full year of the 20th century, a symbolic bridge between the past and future. That timing, combined with the error varieties, makes the 1999 penny a piece of history in more ways than one. Collectors often emphasize that the 1999 Wide AM penny is part of a short list of transitional design errors. In most other years, proof dies were strictly separated from circulation dies, but 1998, 1999, and 2000 are known for such mix-ups. Among these, the 1999 Wide AM is considered the rarest and most valuable. Many collectors still search through rolls of pennies hoping to find one, knowing that such a discovery could be life-changing. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have reported fierce bidding wars over high-grade examples. A 1999 Wide AM penny graded MS68 red, almost flawless, once drew bids approaching $120,000, showing just how passionate the numismatic world can be. Even coins in lower grades with visible signs of circulation can sell for hundreds or thousands, depending on their overall eye appeal and rarity. The mystique surrounding this coin goes beyond its error. For many, it represents the thrill of discovery, the idea that something extraordinary could be hiding in plain sight in a handful of change. Stories circulate of people who found one in their coin jar or received it as part of change at a grocery store, only to later realize they were holding a small fortune. That possibility is what keeps enthusiasts searching, magnifying glasses in hand, scanning every penny that crosses their path. Beyond the Wide AM variety, some collectors look for other subtle details that can add value. Slight doubling in the mint mark, unusual die cracks, or even differences in the color and luster of the copper plating can make certain examples more desirable. The more unique the coin appears under examination, the greater its potential appeal in the market. When evaluating a 1999 penny, experts recommend checking for the spacing between the letters in America first, as that's the hallmark of the Wide AM variety. Another sign is the spacing in FG, the initials of designer Frank Gasparo on the reverse. On the Wide AM variety, the letters FG are positioned slightly farther from the Lincoln Memorial base. These details, though small, can mean the difference between a common coin worth 1 cent and a collector's item worth more than $44, $500. The coin's material composition also tells an interesting story. By 1999, pennies were no longer made primarily of copper. Instead, they consisted of 97.5% zinc with a thin copper coating. This change, introduced in 1982, made them lighter and cheaper to produce but also more prone to striking variations and plating errors. Some 1999 pennies show uneven copper coating, creating bubbles or darker spots on the surface. While these may not always be valuable, certain dramatic examples, where the plating error is distinct and large, can add to a coin's appeal among collectors. Over 2 decades later, the 1999 Lincoln penny continues to capture imaginations. Its story is one of accidental rarity, a product of human oversight that turned into a collector's dream. Every year, more people learn about this hidden gem and start looking at their pennies differently, realizing that history, art, and luck can converge in the smallest of places. So, next time you empty your pockets or open an old coin jar, take a closer look before you dismiss those pennies. One of them might bear the magic of the year 1999, with that slightly wider A and M in America. The subtle clue that transforms an everyday coin into a treasure worth between $44,500 and $122,200. A simple penny born of an error, turned into a symbol of how the tiniest details can change everything. It's a reminder that sometimes the greatest treasures don't shine. They hide in plain sight, waiting for someone with a careful eye to discover their true worth. In 1987, the United States Mint continued producing one of the most iconic coins in American history, the Lincoln 1-cent penny. Millions were struck that year, each bearing the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that had already been in use since 1909. At first glance, a 1987 penny doesn't seem extraordinary. It looks like every other cent that filled people's pockets, jars, and piggy banks across the nation. But as collectors and numismatists have learned over the years, even the most ordinary-looking coin can hide an incredible story. Some of the 1987 Lincoln pennies were minted with fascinating errors that turned them into rare treasures worth far beyond their 1-cent face value. Certain examples of these coins have sold for astonishing prices, ranging from $51,350 to $130,500, depending on the type of error and the coin's overall condition. The 1987 Lincoln penny belongs to a transitional period in U.S. coinage. By this time, the U.S. Mint had long since moved away from the traditional bronze composition and adopted a copper-plated zinc planchet, which had been introduced in 1982. While this change helped reduce production costs, it also created new challenges and opportunities for error. The thin copper layer over the zinc core was prone to issues such as incomplete plating, lamination errors, and even blistering. Each of these problems, when combined with the high-speed minting process, gave rise to unique variations that became sought-after collectibles decades later. One of the most notable error types found among the 1987 pennies is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet isn't perfectly aligned between the dies during striking. The result is a coin where part of the design is missing, with a crescent-shaped blank area showing the raw metal beneath. Some off-center 1987 pennies reveal just enough of Lincoln's portrait and the date to confirm what they are, while others show dramatic misalignments that make them look almost abstract. The more significant the off-center strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Perfect examples with around 50% of the design missing and the date still visible have fetched thousands of dollars at auction. Another fascinating error that appeared on 1987 pennies is the double die error. This occurs when the die used to stamp the design onto the coin shifts slightly between impressions, creating a doubled image on parts of the design. The words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or even Lincoln's profile may show slight doubling. To the untrained eye, this might look like a trick of the light, but to collectors, it's a mark of rarity and history. A strong double-die 1987 penny in near-perfect condition can sell for several $1,000s, depending on how dramatic the doubling appears. There are also 1987 Lincoln pennies known for having die cracks or cuds, which occur when the die used to strike the coin develops small fractures. These imperfections leave raised lines or lumps of extra metal on the coin's surface. While such coins were once discarded as imperfections, modern collectors prize them for their uniqueness. Each die crack tells its own story, a snapshot of the stress and wear experienced by the minting machinery during one of the busiest production periods in modern coin history. Among the rarest 1987 pennies are those with wrong planchet errors. These mistakes happen when a blank meant for another coin, like a dime or a foreign denomination, accidentally finds its way into the Lincoln cent presses. Because the planchets differ in size and weight, the result is a coin that looks unusual, thinner, lighter, or even slightly undersized. Discovering one of these coins is like striking gold in the numismatic world. Examples confirmed to have been struck on dime planchets from 1987 have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, with pristine specimens reaching values close to $130, $500. What makes these error coins even more fascinating is how they often go unnoticed for years. Many are found by ordinary people sorting through their pocket change or inherited coin collections. A coin that someone thought was just an ordinary penny turns out to be a rare treasure once examined closely. This element of surprise adds excitement to the world of coin collecting. Every coin could hold a story, a mistake, or a detail that transforms it from common to extraordinary. The story of the 1987 Lincoln penny also reflects the broader evolution of U.S. coinage. The design itself carries a legacy that connects Americans to their history. The obverse, featuring Lincoln's solemn profile, was created by Victor David Brenner to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth in 1909. The reverse in 1987 still featured the image of the Lincoln Memorial, a design by Frank Gasparo introduced in 1959. Together, these designs symbolize both tradition and continuity. Yet even within that continuity, the 1987 series proved that mistakes could turn routine into rarity. In many cases, these rare 1987-era pennies were discovered through the meticulous work of collectors who examine coins under magnification. Under bright light, small irregularities become visible, doubling in the lettering, minor shifts in alignment, or signs of improper plating. Collectors and grading services carefully verify each discovery, authenticating whether it is a true mint error or simply post-mint damage. Once confirmed, these coins often find their way to major auctions, where their rarity and condition drive their price upward. One of the most remarkable things about the 1987-era pennies is how they capture the imagination of both casual enthusiasts and serious numismatists. There's something captivating about finding beauty and value in imperfection. These coins remind us that even the most precise machines and processes are capable of human-like flaws. And in those flaws lies something precious. A story of chance, craftsmanship, and history colliding in one tiny piece of metal that, in addition to off-center strikes, double dies, and wrong planchet errors. Another variation found among 1987 pennies is known as the broad strike error. This occurs when a coin is struck without the restraining collar that normally shapes its edges, allowing it to expand outward. The result is a coin that looks stretched or slightly larger than normal, with a smooth rim. Broad strike errors from 1987 are rare and visually striking, and when they retain strong detail, they can command high prices among collectors. Collectors often say that the key to finding these valuable coins lies in patience and attention to detail. Many people toss pennies aside, assuming they're worthless, but seasoned numismatists know that the humble cent can sometimes be a gateway to a small fortune. Searching through rolls of 1987 pennies, coin jars, or inherited collections can yield hidden gems. The stories of people who discovered a valuable error coin in their spare change are what keep this hobby alive and full of excitement. What makes the 1987 Lincoln penny particularly interesting is that it's not an ancient coin. It's relatively modern. That means there's still a chance that some of these rare errors are out there waiting to be found. They could be sitting in drawers, jars, or forgotten boxes, waiting for someone to notice that tiny anomaly that sets them apart. When a coin like that emerges and is verified as genuine, it becomes a conversation piece and an object of fascination for years to come. The market for rare coins continues to thrive, and each discovery of an error coin adds fuel to that fire. Collectors compete to own examples in the highest grades possible, those with clean surfaces, sharp details, and minimal wear. The 1987 error pennies that have reached auction in pristine condition have broken expectations, selling for anywhere between $51,350 and $130,500 depending on the type of error and the strength of its features. For a coin that was once worth a single cent, that's a breathtaking transformation. Ultimately, the story of the 1987 Lincoln 1-cent penny reminds us that history and value often hide in plain sight. Every coin has its own journey, from the mint to countless hands, from cash registers to pockets. And sometimes, fate intervenes to make one of them truly special. Those little imperfections, invisible to most, have turned a simple penny into a piece of American history worth thousands. So the next time you find a 1987 penny, take a closer look. You never know if you might be holding one of those rare and valuable treasures born from an unexpected mistake. A tiny piece of metal that now carries a story and a value that far exceeds its humble beginnings. The 2017 Lincoln 1-cent penny might look like an ordinary coin at first glance, the kind of penny you might toss into a jar or drop on the floor without a second thought. But for coin collectors and experts, this seemingly common piece of copper-plated zinc holds a story that has turned some of them into valuable treasures worth a small fortune. Among the millions of pennies struck by the U.S. Mint in 2017, a handful left the presses with unique errors, mistakes that transformed them from everyday coins into rare collector's items. These error pennies have fetched prices ranging from $32,220 to $78,500, depending on their rarity and condition. The Lincoln penny has been part of American coinage since 1909, introduced to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It replaced the Indian head cent and became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person rather than a symbolic figure. The design, created by Victor David Brenner, has seen subtle changes over the decades, but Lincoln's portrait has remained the centerpiece. In 2017, the familiar obverse featured Lincoln's enduring profile with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year 2017. On the reverse, the design known as the Union Shield, introduced in 2010, symbolized the unity of the states under one nation. Yet, as with many modern coins, the minting process of 2017 wasn't flawless. During mass production, the U.S. Mint strikes billions of coins each year using high-speed presses. Even with advanced technology and quality control, errors occasionally occur. Tiny misalignments, incorrect planchets, or die mistakes that give birth to rare and valuable variations. In the case of the 2017 Lincoln penny, several notable error types appeared, and each one became a sensation among collectors. One of the most famous 2017 penny errors is the double die obverse, where details like Lincoln's eye, mouth, or inscriptions such as Liberty appear slightly doubled under magnification. This effect happens when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned or receives two impressions during preparation. The result is a coin that looks slightly blurred in certain areas, but to collectors, it's a striking symbol of rarity. Some of these double die errors from 2017 have sold for thousands of dollars, especially in uncirculated condition. Another error type that gained attention is the off-center strike. In these coins, the image of Lincoln and the inscriptions are not properly centered on the surface, with part of the design missing. The degree of the off-center strike determines the coin's rarity and value. The more dramatic the error, the higher the price. Coins that still show the full date and mint mark despite being off-center are particularly desirable, as they clearly link the error to the 2017 issue. Then there are the clipped planchet errors, where a portion of the coin's edge is missing, creating a distinctive crescent-shaped gap. These occur when a blank metal disc is punched too close to the edge of the metal sheet during production. Although visually simple, these errors are rare and have an undeniable charm that makes them highly collectible. One of the most fascinating and valuable 2017 penny errors is the transitional planchet error. Normally, modern pennies are made of a zinc core coated with copper, but occasionally, a few are mistakenly struck on planchets intended for other coins, such as dimes or foreign coin blanks. These pieces can be lighter or have a different color or texture, and because they deviate from the standard composition, they stand out immediately to experts. Some transitional error pennies from 2017 have sold for well over $32,220, with pristine examples climbing to nearly $78,500 in private auctions and coin shows. The story of these errors is also a reminder of how complex the minting process is. Each coin starts as a blank metal disc called a planchet, which is then fed into a machine that stamps the design onto both sides with immense pressure. The dies that strike the coins wear down over time, and even the slightest misalignment can produce unusual results. While the mint strives for perfection, it's these imperfections, these brief mechanical hiccups, that create coins of immense value. For collectors, part of the excitement lies in the hunt. Many of the 2017 era pennies were discovered in circulation, sitting unnoticed in pockets, cash registers, and penny rolls. Everyday people have found them while going through loose change or while sorting through coin rolls purchased from banks. Stories of sudden discoveries and huge auction sales have fueled public fascination, leading even casual collectors to start checking their pennies more closely. One particularly famous find involved a 2017 penny with a clear double die on Liberty and In God We Trust. Discovered by a collector in Illinois, the coin was sent to a professional grading service, authenticated, and later sold for over $40,000 at auction. Another example, an off-center strike missing nearly 25% of the design but still showing the date and mint mark, fetched nearly $60,000. These cases are not isolated. Each discovery adds new energy to the world of coin collecting, reminding everyone that extraordinary treasures can still be found in the most ordinary places. What makes the 2017 Lincoln penny especially intriguing is that it's part of a modern era of minting. Unlike older coins from the early 1900s, these are contemporary pieces that many people still have in circulation. The fact that errors of this magnitude occurred in recent years makes them even more appealing. They represent a mix of advanced technology and human imperfection, a rare intersection where history, science, and luck collide. Coin experts and grading organizations have emphasized the importance of condition when determining value. A 2017 penny error found in circulation with scratches, or where might be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars, but one discovered in uncirculated or mint condition can reach extraordinary figures, sometimes close to $78,500. The grading process, handled by institutions like PCGS and NGC, evaluates not just the presence of the error but also the overall sharpness and preservation of the coin. The fascination with error coins also speaks to something deeper, the beauty of imperfection. In a world driven by precision and uniformity, these flawed coins remind us that mistakes can create something extraordinary. Each 2017 penny error tells a story of a momentary lapse in a mechanical process, a fleeting instant where a die shifted or a planchet misfed, and history was quietly made in copper and zinc. Collectors often describe finding such coins as a blend of science and luck. The process involves knowledge, understanding what to look for, but also patience and intuition. It's that combination that has kept the passion for coin collecting alive for generations. The thrill of possibly uncovering a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars in everyday change adds an element of adventure to an otherwise ordinary task. The 2017 Lincoln penny errors continue to be a topic of discussion in online communities and collector forums. Each new discovery, each coin that surfaces with a fresh variation or minting mistake, adds to the growing fascination. And while not every penny will turn out to be a treasure, the mere possibility keeps enthusiasts searching, eyes sharp for the next remarkable find. The story of the 2017 Lincoln 1-cent penny is, in many ways, a reflection of the American spirit itself: humble beginnings, unexpected turns, and hidden value waiting to be discovered. What started as a coin worth just 1 cent has, for a lucky few, transformed into a piece worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. The next time you find a shiny penny dated 2017, take a closer look. Examine the details, the edges, and the lettering, because you never know. Hidden in your change might be a rare piece of history, one that could be worth anywhere from $32,220 to $78,500. And that's the magic of coin collecting. The realization that something so small, so ordinary, can carry within it an extraordinary story of chance, craftsmanship, and discovery.